Adults for Unit 9B, quantifiers. There are a lot of words in English to describe quantities. Big quantities, small quantities, very small quantities, and it depends what we are counting for what words we can use to describe these quantities. So, let's start with large quantities, big quantities. For example, my uncle and aunt have a lot of money. Nina has lots of clothes. Both of these sentences are positive, and here a lot of and lots of is the same, right? So we use a lot or lots in positive sentences. James eats a lot. We don't know, have something to complete our sentence here. It's not necessary. Just he eats a lot. Here we don't say a lot of because that a lot of connects us to something. He eats a lot of meat. He eats a lot of fish. But he eats a lot. That's it. You finish the sentence with a lot. When there is no noun, he talks a lot. Three, there aren't many cafes near here. Do you have many close friends? Do you watch much TV? I don't eat much chocolate. So these sentences are negative and questions, and it is more popular in English to use many or much with negative and questions. However, it is okay to use a lot of with negative and questions. It's okay. It's just more natural to use many and much. What is the difference with much and many? Many is for countable nouns, many cafes, many close friends. Much is for uncountable nouns like TV and chocolate. Finally, plenty of is for a very big quantity, more than is necessary. We have more than enough, and we use plenty in positive sentences. Don't run, we have plenty of time. Plenty of time. What about small quantities? For example, do you want some more ice cream? Just a little. This is a small quantity. We use little with uncountable nouns like ice cream, and we use few with plural countable nouns. For example, the town only has a few movie theaters. Movie theaters are countable. One, two, three, four movie theaters. A few movie theaters, but for small quantities. I'm so busy that I have very little time for myself. Sarah isn't popular and she has very few friends is similar to not much and many, right? The quantity is extremely small. Okay, what about more or less than you need or want? It is too much and too little. This is a bad situation to have too much. It's more than I want. It's more than I need. Or too little. It's much less than I want, much less than I need. A bad situation. Different to so, right? So much is good. Too much is bad. I love you so much is a good situation. I love you too much is obsession and a bad situation, right? For example, one, I don't like this city. It's too big and too noisy. What type of words are big and noisy? They're descriptions, they're adjectives. We use too with adjectives. Too big, too strong, too fast, too boring. But when we have nouns like traffic and noise, there's too much traffic and too much noise. Here we use much, too much with uncountable nouns and too many with plural countable nouns. Traffic is uncountable, noise is uncountable. Tourists are countable. There are too many tourists. And cars are plural too and countable. There are too many cars. We use enough to mean a sufficient quantity. So the negative is not a sufficient quantity. For example, there aren't enough parks and there aren't enough trees. Enough is before a noun. Enough parks, enough trees, enough eggs, enough classes, enough teachers. But if we have a adjective or an adverb, like frequent or frequently, enough goes after. Okay, the buses aren't frequent enough. The buses don't run frequently enough. There aren't enough buses. They don't run frequently enough. So enough is after an adjective and after an adverb, but before a noun. Important to remember. Finally, what if the quantity is zero? And here, English is different to Spanish, so it's important to pay attention here. There isn't any room in the car. We use any with negative sentences. Any plus a noun for zero quantity with a negative verb. There isn't any room in the car. There is zero room available right now. We don't have any eggs. There are zero eggs. Negative and any. But also, there's no room in the car. We have no eggs. These sentences are positive, not negative. They are positive sentences, but the value is zero. No room, zero room. We have no eggs, zero eggs. So this is actually a positive verb, but we use no with the noun. That's different to Spanish, right? So here we have a positive sentence. We have, but the quantity is zero, no eggs. And the other alternative is here in three. How many eggs do we have? None. None is zero. And if you want to say that in a longer sentence, we have none. Again, a positive sentence, not we don't have none. That would be your translation directly from Spanish, right? No tenemos nada. Well, actually, we have, it's tenemos nada, right? Would be your translation, but that doesn't sound right. Okay, so we use non without a noun in short answers, but remember this is actually positive. In English, two negatives is a positive. We don't have none means we have some, right? Two negatives is a positive. Minus two plus minus two is zero. It's not minus four, right? That's one way to think about it. Okay, let's take a look at some practice questions. Circle the correct answer. My maths was bad on that example. Don't listen to that example. A, circle the correct answer. Check if both are possible. Our example, my husband has too many electronic gadgets. Why? Gadgets are countable. Countable is many. Okay, pause and complete 10 questions. Okay, let's check. Number one, I just have to reply to a few emails. Emails are countable. Few is countable, little is uncountable. Two, do you spend much time on social networking sites? Time is uncountable. Minutes and hours are countable, but time is uncountable in English. Number three, my bedroom is a nice size. There's enough room. Also, there's plenty of room for a desk. Both sentences are grammatically correct. They mean slightly different things. Enough room for a desk is okay, good. There is an allocated space for a desk. It can fit, no problems. plenty of room for a desk is there are many options where the desk can go. We can have a desk and another desk and a chair. There's plenty of room. That's the difference. Number four, I know very few people who speak two foreign languages. People here is countable. It's an irregular plural, right? This is plural. Person is singular. People is plural. And people are countable, so very few. Very little people means very short people in this context, and that's not what you want to say. Number five, my brother has downloaded a lot and lots of apps onto his new phone. Remember, in positive sentences, a lot of and lots of is the same here. There is no difference. Number six, I have some cash on me, but not a lot, right? I have some on me, but not a lot. We don't finish our sentence with a lot of. That's leaving it without resolution. We don't have a lot. That's it. Seven, their new TV is too big. Why? Because big is an adjective, so too big, too strong, too fast. It hardly fits in the living room. Number eight, there aren't any or there aren't no potatoes. There aren't any. Also, there are no. I said that a little bit wrong there. There are no potatoes. Both are okay because any with a negative, no with the positive, and they mean the same thing. There aren't any, zero. There are no, zero potatoes. I forgot to buy some. Number nine, my niece isn't old enough. Old is an adjective, so enough goes after the adjective. She isn't old enough to play with a games console. And finally, I don't have a lot of friends on Facebook. I don't have many friends on Facebook are both okay. A lot of is generally for positive, and this is a negative sentence, but it is okay. You can use a lot of with negative sentences like this one. I don't have a lot of friends on Facebook. I don't have many friends on Facebook. Okay, part B, we check correct sentences and correct mistakes in highlighted phrases if there is a problem. For example, my nephew got lots of video games for his birthday. That's good, a big quantity of countable video games. And I don't post much videos on Facebook. This is wrong. It should be many videos because videos are countable. Number one, how many presents did you get? A lot of? No, just a lot. That's it. Just a lot. Number two, I buy very few paper books now because I have an e-reader. This is good. A very small quantity. Books are countable, few with countable nouns. Number three, I don't use no social networks because I don't like them. This is a double negative, and we don't like double negatives in English. So we change no to any. I don't use any social networks because I don't like them. Number four, please turn that music down. It's too much loud. Much is not necessary here because loud is an adjective. Much is only for nouns. Loud is an adjective, so it's too loud. We need to delete. I'm sorry. We need to delete much. It's too loud. Number five, there aren't many good shows on TV tonight. That's good. Oh, sorry, I'm not reading it correctly. There aren't any good shows on TV tonight. Any with negative sentences. Number six, my internet connection isn't enough fast for me to download movies. Fast is an adjective, so is enough in the right space? No, it's not. Isn't fast enough. Enough needs to go after fast. Isn't fast enough. Number 7, I make too much phone calls. We need to change this. Phone calls are countable, so I make too many phone calls. That's why my phone bill is enormous. Number 8, how much fruit do we have? Any. Can you buy some? None. Can you buy some? The short answer here for zero quantity is none. Any is part of a negative sentence or a question. 9, there are only a little websites that I use regularly. We need to change little to few because websites are countable. There are only a few websites I use regularly. And finally, Karen has plenty of money, so she always has the latest gadgets. That's good. She has a very big quantity of money, plenty of money, so she always has the latest gadgets. Hopefully, this is okay for large quantities, small quantities, more or less than what you need or want, and finally, zero quantities. In general, it's quite similar to Spanish, apart from that double negative here. Okay, see you next time.